God literally does not need us. He does not need us. And that is the craziest thing about God, is that he chooses to be with us. And I used to be this way, and sometimes I still fall into this pattern, but it is so important to be aware if your quiet time and your time spent with God is just asking him for things and being and seeing and contemplating and meditating on if he's answered this prayer yet, and if this prayer is going to be answered, and what's the timeline of this prayer, and just asking. Like, that is not a healthy relationship. And you can't, like, you and God's relationship is not just for your prayers to be answered, I think is what I'm trying to say. It is just such a humbling reminder that God literally doesn't need us, and he chooses us anyways, and he loves us. Obviously, he gave his son for us, but it's just hit me lately, and I've even paid attention to this in worship. I think there's such a difference in Christian songs and worship songs, where if your worship songs are still talking about you, of how you built me up, God, and how you've given me strength, it's still about us. Like, those songs were still singing about how much God has given us, where true adoration, and I think you see the full picture of God and his heart, is when it has nothing to do with you at all. It has nothing to do with you at all. If God never answered another prayer ever again in your life, if you heard silence from him on his end, would you still worship him? Would you still want a relationship with him? I think that is it can be a mindless answer of like, of course he's God, but like, truly think about that. And I think about that all the time, where it's like, that's kind of how I evaluate me and God's relationship, of like, what am I giving and taking in this relationship? And like, is this all about me? And I think it's just so important to look at, is your relationship with God about how many prayers he answers, and like, what's he answered so far, and what's the timeline of this answered prayer and stuff. It's like, it's not about us. It's truly not. And that should make him even greater God, that like, he needs not one of us, and he chooses us anyways. And he answers our prayers because he loves us and because he wants to, not because he has to. Like, that, he's done enough. He's given us salvation. He's given us eternity with him. And still somehow we're still like, but are you going to do this for me? Are you going to bring me this relationship? Are you going to answer this dream of mine? And he wants to. I'm not saying that he doesn't want to. And that's just how we like get to see and be in awe of his heart and who he is. But I don't know. This was just on my mind this morning. So I hope this helps someone just be more mindful. And this helps me be more mindful every day. And just it reminds me of how selfish I am, and of how selfless God is. But I think we're just a culture of me. And especially when, sorry, I thought I was done, but I'm not. 1 second. Especially when you go from one end of not knowing Jesus to the other, you have this transformation in your life, and it's truly like, sometimes feels like day and night. It did for me. And it was just like, oh my gosh, God, you're so good. And he is. But we can get into this cycle and this kind of, just like cycle of like, okay, what else are you going to give me? Okay, what else are you going to change? Okay, how else is life going to get better? And we forget that he is so holy and so set apart and so doesn't need anything from us, that it's actually not about us at all. And all of this is just an overflow of his love for us. He doesn't need us. And it's humbling to accept and realize, but also I hope it checks your heart like it did mine.